Hello, my name is Momoka and I'm going to be tutoring you today. I'm going to teach you how we can work out the area of rectangles and squares. So at this point I would ask the student what they already know and tell them if they don't know anything, that's not an issue, we are going to go through it today. Knowing how to calculate an area can be very important. For example, might need to calculate the area of a wall, let's say, to find how much wallpaper we need. So it comes handy in everyday life. So here we have a square and a rectangle. I'd ask the student whether they can identify which is a square and rectangle and how they know. So they would probably say something like, this is a square, this is a rectangle, and this has all same size, full sides are same length, and this one has two equal opposite lengths. So that's how they would find out which is a square and rectangle. So to work out the area of a rectangle, you have to use this equation here, height times width equals area. Now, let me highlight this. Now, when we refer to the height, we often mean here. And when we refer to the width, we often mean the length here. And the area is everything inside the rectangle. So, as an example question, what if we were told that, say, this is a photograph and the height was 6 centimeters and the width was 8 centimeters? What would the area be? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. So basically, when you also do this, you have to make sure the units of the width and height are the same. This. And when you get the area, you get units squared. So, for example, if you've got height is centimeters, width is centimeters, the area would be in units of centimeters. Centimeters squared with a little 2 on top. So yeah, that's all I just wanted to explain. So have a go at working out the area of that rectangle. I would give them a few minutes, wait for them to answer, and if they seem to be struggling, guide them. So say, what is a height here, what is a width here, now what is 6 times 8, and I like to ask them questions during the lesson to keep them engaged and focused and to make sure they're understanding the content. I also like to relate these examples to kind of everyday objects or things just to make it a little bit more interesting. So yeah, this would be 4, 6, 8 is 48 centimeters squared here. Now this is a square, and we know squares have same length sides. So if this was 5 centimeters and if this was 5 centimeters, what would the area be? And one thing to remember with squares, because they are the same, you can actually do side squared equals area. So I will write that down for you. Side squared equals area. But also you get the same answer if you just do height times width. So in this one it would be 5 squared, which is, I'd probably try and wait for them to answer. If not, I'd say it's 5 times 5 is 25 centimeters squared. So that's the answer there. If, for example, we have different units on the lengths, you would have to change up the units. So I'll do an example on the next page. Let's see. So if we have a TV, for example, and this side is 80 centimetres, this side is 1 metres, what is the area? We just have to either work it out in both centimetres or both metres. I think here we should do centimetres, so 1 metre equals 100 centimetres. That means that we can do 80 centimetres times 100 centimetres equals 8,000 centimetres squared. Yeah, I would try and see how much the student knows and if they could convert between centimetres and metres. If not, I would try and guide them through. Yeah, so we do probably more example questions. So this one could be a square, say 9 times 9, and then this one could be a 12 and 3 and 3. Maybe try and make it a bit harder, push them if they seem to find this easy. Yeah. And then, okay, so we can now move on to working out the length after being given the area. For example, if we were told this area is 24 centimetres squared, and this side is 3 centimetres, what is the width? So as we know from earlier, the equation to work out area is height times width equals area, right? But we've been given the area and height here, but not the width. So it's 3 times width equals 24. So what is multiplied by 3 to make 24 in this case? It would be 8. Probably try and encourage them to answer before me. Therefore, the width, the answer is 8 centimetres. So because it's 24 divided by 3. So here is a square. Next example, here is a square, and if we're told the area is 36 centimetres squared, but we're not given any of the sides, so what is a height and what is a width? Now I would try and see if the student would be able to figure out that height and width would be the same in this case. If not, I would try and make them think about, well, what is a property of a square? They all have the same sides. And then tell them, well, then what do you think? Two numbers, what do you think of can you think of a number that can be divided times multiplied by itself to make 36? And that would be, the answer would be 6. So in this case, it's side squared equals 36, which makes it 36 root. They might not have come across root yet, but I'll just explain that it's the opposite of squaring something, which is 6. This makes this 6 centimetres and the width 6 centimetres. Throughout the lesson, I would try and kind of ask them whether they have understood it up to this point, so that they're not just sat there lost. And I can understand from a student's point of view that when you lose one thing, you just kind of lose everything else. So I'd try and do checkbacks quite frequently. Yeah, and I think I'd end the lesson with giving them a homework. If there are any aspects of the lesson that the student particularly struggled with, I would try and focus on those more and give them more questions to do with that. and I would give a mix of easy and difficult questions, and then next lesson I could see how much they were able to do and how whether they would need kind of going back over, or if they're completely okay with it. Yeah. Check. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you soon.